coverage here at GP Hartford. I'm Marshall Cycliffe in the booth with Melissa DeTora. We've got Oliver 2 versus Matt Nass, and they are lined up and ready to go. Oh boy, Melissa,
this is exciting. So Matt Nass is known for playing combo decks,
yeah.
And this tournament is no different. He's playing Clark Clan Ironworks combo,
which, by the way, from now on will be referred to as KCI.
That sounds great because
I'm not making you say that
hard to
over
say.
and over and over. Yeah, so I'm gonna have you explain that deck in just a second. In the meantime, Oliver is on Mardu Pyromancer, a deck that's been doing well on Magic Online of late. What's the deal with Clark Clan Ironworks? What is it trying to do?
Okay, so you just play a bunch of artifacts, a lot of them cantrip, like Mind Stone, the Chromatic Stars and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then KCI says you can sacrifice an artifact to add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. And then you just have big finishers like Emrakul, and the deck is like consistent enough where like it can find it pretty easily. I would have to look at a list to see what other win conditions Matt Nass is playing, but I expect to see at least 1 copy of Emrakul in the deck. It can just like cycle through its deck super, super fast. And it's pretty hard to interact with because once you play the KCI, you can usually go off that turn.
In the meantime, Oliver 2 is playing a much more mid-range based strategy here. Mardu Pyromancer has the ability to, of course, tear your hand apart with a bunch of hand disruption spells, and then uses some really neat technology with Faithless Looting and a bunch of graveyard cards.
Yeah, one of the biggest payoffs for the Mardu Pyromancer deck is Bedlam Reveler. Mm-hmm. So you fill your graveyard up with a lot of instants and sorceries, and then you can. And Bedlam Reveler has a cost reduction. It costs 1 less for each instant and sorcery you have in your graveyard. So if you cast it for 2 mana, you can usually just Ancestral yourself.
Great job designing that card, by the way.
Thanks,
Melissa. Yep.
I was actually on that set team.
Wait, so you actually might have had some input on that
absolutely.
card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, definitely.
I was joking.
No, I
remember how I was blaming you for everything.
Yeah, no, you can blame me for things. That's fine. Yeah, Eldritch Moon was actually my first
awesome
design team.
Well, great job.
Thanks.
Like legit. Yeah, Bedlam Reveler took a little bit of time to find its home, but has absolutely done so in this Mardu Pyromancer deck. It is a savage reload and also well statted for Modern in that it doesn't die, of course, the Fatal Push being 8 mana, but also doesn't die to Lightning Bolt. And it's quite difficult to get off the battlefield, and of course you get that devastating reload of 3 cards into your hand as well.
Yeah, when we made this card, we did want it to see play in Standard. It really didn't, mostly because there were other cards in the format surrounding it that kind of like were too strong and pushed that card out. But we'd had a feeling it would see play in Modern, so I'm really glad that someone finally found a home for it.
Young Pyromancer has been a card that's seen Modern play for quite a while. There's a Terrarian on the other side of the battlefield.
Young Pyromancer also sees Legacy play.
Indeed.
And probably Vintage.
Pyrite Spellbomb is going to be used to kill Young Pyromancer before it creates too big of a clock, potentially buying Matt Nass a lot of time if Oliver doesn't have a threat to follow up with.
So Matt Nass is playing one of the strongest card filtering spells in the format, Ancient Stirrings. It's like pretty rare for a 1-mana card to like dig that deep, and it finds so many relevant cards for this type of deck. And then you see this deck playing it, you see Tron playing 4 copies, you see decks like Amulet playing it.
And here we go, a nice turn for Oliver too. He's got another Young Pyromancer plus a 1-drop to play. In Thoughtseize, going to take a look at what's going on with Matt Nass. What does Matt have going on?
So he has the KCI in hand, which I imagine Oliver will take here.
His other option is a Mind Stone. There's Buried Ruins too, but of course he can't take that one away.
Is that a Terrarian in play?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not used to that art from Terrarian. I'm used to the older one.
Isn't that the one from Eldritch Moon? Didn't you design and put that card in the set?
Yes, but I don't have anything to do with the art, and at the time our playtest cards didn't have art.
By the way, chat is currently blaming you for Phyrexian mana, but also giving you credit for Yargle.
Oh, nice.
And blaming you for Smuggler's Copter as well. So how's that R&D position
You can
working out for
blame me for anything, you know.
I've been doing it all day.
Happens.
Chromatic Star for Matt Nass joins Terrarian.
So now Matt Nass has 2 chances to draw into his KCI. He could also draw Mirror Retriever, which can return an artifact into hand when it dies. And there's also Scrap Trawler, which is a new addition to the deck, which is probably like what made the deck a little bit more competitive. It's an Eldritch Moon card. And that card, I believe it returns something to play that has CMC that costs less than it. So it has a lot of recursion for artifacts.
Absolutely.
Which makes artifact destruction relevant, but like you have a lot of ways to mitigate those cards.
Yeah, Scrappy Cheese kind of the engine that makes this whole deck go, in addition to Krark Clan Ironworks. With no Scrap Trawler, the deck doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it's way less consistent. Like, people have been playing this deck for a long time, but it's, like, super, super inconsistent.
Well,
It's just like, did I draw my Emrakul?
Well, there's a loop, right? They can actually get a loop going with a Scrap Trawler and a KCI that lets them effectively draw their whole deck.
Oh, and then you win with Pirate Spellbomb?
Right.
Yeah, so actually, like...
That, or you could just make a bunch of mana and cast an Emrakul.
Right.
But
and also, there
actually
is no Emrakul in this deck, so, like, the deck just evolved to just play more of, like, an infinite recycle all of my artifacts thing, instead of like the Emrakul decks like we saw before Scrap Trawler was a thing. Buried Ruin, another way to return stuff to hand. This deck just like has a lot of consistency.
By the way, now you're getting blamed for Scornful Egotist, but also but also credit for Fibblethip.
Oh, he's a little cutie.
Yeah.
I have a stuffed animal of him on my desk.
There you go. I have one of those too. And Chad is currently inquiring whether you were behind Heart of Kirin and Aetherworks Marvel. So we'll see what they come up with for that. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the answer is obviously yes.
I mean, like, obviously the answer is yes, but I did have a 6-month break from Wizards. And
oh, there was a window.
Yeah, because, like, I left Wizards for 6 months when my first contract ended. And it happened to be during the time of the end of Kaladesh and all of Aether Revolt.
So if I was in chat, I should assume that any card I don't like was designed during that 6-month window, and all the good stuff happened when you came back or before you left.
If you're a fan of me, then you can totally say that. If you're not a fan of me, you can just blame me for anything.
That is part of the deal, I guess, working in the building. All right, here's Chromatic Star now from Matt Nass. Can he go off, though? He doesn't have what he needs.
No, he really doesn't right now. I can't see what's in his hand, but I think he seems pretty far away from going off right now. He has a pretty high life total.
But he is under a lot of pressure, facing down 5 power and not getting any lighter here for Oliver 2.
Yeah, I think Oliver probably has a Faithless Looting in his graveyard, which will just give him another token and just allow him to just dig deeper for more stuff.
He's going to start with Thoughtseize, and there's another KCI.
Yep,
it's going to get taken away here. Mox Opal's going to stay in hand. And now we're going to see Faithless Looting flashback as well. So we add 2 more elementals to the battlefield.
Oh, and there's a nice one to discard if he chooses to.
What did he find,
Lingering
Melissa?
Souls.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he could instead keep it in hand and just fetch a white source and just cast it for full value next turn. But I can't tell if he has a white source in play. That a Sacred Foundry? That's kind of hidden there.
He's just going to go ahead and discard the Lingering Souls either way. Play his land and attack for 5 damage, knocking Matt Nass down to 12. And Matt is down 2 KCIs here, 2 of them in the yard. Might be difficult for him to come back. Oh, Inventor's Fair, 2 artifacts.
Yep, still
not quite there.
Not quite enough. Inventor's Fair will game him 1 life, but I believe he has to control 3 artifacts for that.
That's correct. Now he does have a Buried Ruin, which he can pay 2 mana, tap, and sack it to return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So he can buy back one of them. He will be a mana short on actually casting it if he does so.
Yeah, he might just need to draw a land here. And even then,
He
it's still going to be...
have
he doesn't have
anything
anything else going on, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
he's
can't
pretty
imagine.
far off from winning here.
Can't imagine he gets out of this mess. And by the way, in the meantime, Oliver, too, has reloaded with Bedlam Reveler.
Yep.
And attacked for
Bedlam
7.
Reveler is the reason to play a deck like this. It's just such a huge payoff.
And a pair of spirits plus an elemental. Easily has assembled lethal. He's forcing Matt Nass to win this turn, but I don't know what outs Matt has at this point. He can use his Buried Ruin to get back to KCI. If he draws a land, he can cast it, but then what?
Yeah, if he can win from here, I will be very impressed.
As will I. He'll know, of course, what outs he potentially has.
All right, so that turns on the Mox Opal, and now he can filter that to draw a land and cast the KCI. So let's see if he can do that. I think he drew a Darksteel Citadel.
Maybe a Mirror Retriever.
Oh no, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it is a Mirror Retriever. Yep.
That's part of his combo as well.
Yep. Ooh, that was a really good draw. That's Engineered Explosives. It's not good enough, but
Will he be able to survive a turn?
no, he can't because he has 5 points of damage in play that isn't in the form of 0 mana creatures.
Right.
But that was closer than it looked, really.
Yeah, for sure. But Oliver, too, does end up taking down game number 1 in pretty short order. He was able to take away the key combo pieces on key turns there from Matt Nass, thanks to Thoughtseize. But it's not getting any easier from Matt's perspective as we see Oliver, too, hitting up the sideboard.
Look at all those cards.
Yeah, he's bringing in a bunch.
Wow.
What do you think
That's
he's bringing
like
in?
10 cards. Okay, let's see what he has here in the sideboard. Kambal, Consul of Allocation.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever an opponent plays a non-creature spell, I believe it deals the opponent 2.
Yep, that's right.
Nile Spellbomb is good for removing the graveyard, so when Matt is trying to go off with Mirror Retriever, that won't happen. Oh, Leyline of the Void.
Dear goodness
A really
sakes.
important sideboard card that we've seen this weekend a few times. Yeah, Leyline of the Void pretty much shuts the combo down entirely.
I'm kind of scared here, Melissa, because Oliver won game 1 quite easily without access to all of these sideboard cards.
Yeah.
And now
like,
he gets to just beef up his deck.
Yeah, and
even
as we
further.
saw him pull out a sideboard, he just put so many cards in there. Like, there were at least like 7 or 8 cards going into the deck. Wear Tear as a one of, just a random kill your artifact that I care about right now. Engineered Explosives, I'm not sure he would bring that in. It doesn't kill that much. They can kill like the Mox Opals on 0. Yeah, like I probably would not bring that in. But the Kambal, Leyline, and Nile Spellbomb sounds great. And Wear Tear, of course.
Yeah, Kambal's really annoying for these combo decks that are looking to try to go off on one big explosive turn. Kambal effectively says you can't.
Right. Matt, on the other hand, he has Ghirapur Aether Grid. So that's like a really good counterplay to the opponent bringing in graveyard removal because you can just use your artifacts to ping the opponent and win that way. Galvanic Blast to just kill random Pyromancers.
Whoa, Matt Nass just looked into our soul.
Whoa.
Hello, Matt.
Matt Nass also has Wormcoil Engine, which is actually randomly good against this deck. I imagine if a Wormcoil Engine resolved, Oliver will have no answers to it. He can just go KCI and then just cast it on the same turn.
All right, well, we're getting close to game number 2.
Another pretty sweet card I see here in Matt's sideboard, which you wouldn't side in this matchup, of course, but Defense Grid is just a card that like people kind of forgot about. It just shuts down counterspells. So it's really great for a combo deck to just make sure like the coast is clear and make sure you can just go off, you know?
Alrighty, just about ready now after pretty long break there for sideboarding and shuffling and all that.
Yep, there's a lot of decisions to be made.
Indeed.
Game 1 is arguably the least relevant game of the match.
And we're underway here. Chromatic Sphere kicks things off.
Oh, it drew the ley line the turn after.
Oh, the worst possible.
So sad. That's unfortunate, but I think I see a Thoughtseize.
Yeah, Matt knows he's going to have to win through some amount of hand disruption, though he may not be aware of the slew of sideboard cards that Oliver 2 is about to put down on him, though. Did get a little fortunate having him draw that one a little later than he wanted. Just a turn late.
It's an Inquisition. Okay.
Wow. So he's got Nature's Claim, Engineered Explosives.
Oh, so Matt had the
KCI
Nature's
and
Claim for the ley line.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. He expected it.
Well, he may be able to find some other target for it at some point. But Inquisition of Kozilek looks quite strong here, able to take away the Engineered Explosives or the Nature's Claim, depending on which one's better against Oliver's game plan.
So we went with Nature's Claim, so I guess his plan is to play the ley line on turn 4.
Yeah, he also has a Thoughtseize in his hand to take away the Ironworks.
Ooh, Ancient Stirrings.
Hello.
The card that I was saying earlier is just one of the strongest card filtering spells in the format.
Yeah, why did you print that? Seriously, Melissa.
I know. Reprinted in Masters 25.
Indeed. In all of its creepy glory. Is that Ulamog? What is that?
It's probably some kind of Eldrazi. It was from Rise of the Eldrazi.
Yeah, the card is great.
It's funny how, like, the card that was made to find Eldrazi actually just finds, like, really sweet artifacts and lands.
Yeah. But Oliver's probably going to be happy to see Matt go for the Ancient Stirrings here because since he's going to line up a Thoughtseize, he knows he has one good target for it. Looks like he blew a tire there. Yep. But, he also gets to have a chance to take what he got with the Stirrings.
Yeah, I did not see what he got with
I
didn't see what he got with the Ancient Stirrings, actually. He does have to reveal it, but, like, I'm sure he did and we missed it. But, yeah, so Oliver knows if he'll know how strong his Thoughtseize is. At least he's taking Ironworks or maybe something better, depending on what he found. So we got a Thoughtseize. And that's the... no, that's the Terrarian, right? No, that's the Scrap Trawler. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Scrappy Tea in the graveyard.
Scrappy Tea, that's a great name.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. It's a pair of Thoughtseizes.
Another Thoughtseize.
That's right.
This one from Lorwyn.
That's right.
My favorite one.
Same. And I think that Matt right now is thinking, I don't really like either of those Thoughtseizes because they have sufficiently stripped his hand down to not a whole lot left.
Yep, he's like, if only they were Inquisitions.
Win condition acquired. Gear per Ether Grid.
Yep, there it is.
So this isn't a particularly fast clock, but...
No, it isn't a fast clock, but it does stop Oliver from playing Young Pyromancer?
Absolutely. Matt has an activation waiting right now. He played the explosives for nothing. And then with any artifact, he'll actually have two activations ready to go. And that does start to get quicker.
That Wear Tear is looking pretty nice, though. He's very far off from casting both modes, but it will be nice eventually. Does Oliver have a Manamorphose in hand? Ah, he does. So that'll help him cast the other side, the Wear Tear.
Yeah, that'll give him some white mana.
Oh, great. Yeah, this is perfect for him.
Oh, this is just a savaging for him. He's got the land. He's got the other colors of mana.
Wear Tear is such a sweet sideboard card in Modern. It can completely destroy certain decks.
Yeah, and remember, Wear and Tear is a fuse card, so you can do both sides. So this, this will be
that is exactly what he's going to do here with his Manamorphose that helped him get white mana.
That is a beating. So the gear per ether grid will get destroyed, as well as, I don't know, the EE, no, the sphere, I should say.
Yeah, so Sphere is different from Star. Sphere, you only draw a card if you sacrifice it for mana, and Star, you draw a card if
it goes to the graveyard.
If it goes to graveyard in any way. Then another interesting thing that Oliver's doing here is he's actively searching for basics because he has a Blood Moon in hand. And it looks like he's planning on casting the Blood Moon this turn. I think that's the reason why he went for Swamps.
What a nightmare for Matt Nass. Now, the good news for him, of course, is that Blood Moon, while still somewhat effective, does not stop Matt from casting his colorless things like KCI.
Yeah, it's not really great against him. Like, it doesn't
It's certainly
turn
not
off,
devastating, yeah.
Like, Darksteel Citadel is still an artifact. It shuts off things like Inventor's Fair, Buried Ruin, but it doesn't stop Matt from casting any spells.
Yeah, this is definitely not game over for Oliver 2 just because of the Blood Moon, though he is significantly ahead as Matt is on 0 here.
Yeah, but Oliver has no clock, which he really needs because, like, if he just gives Matt tons of time, then he can just easily come back here.
Matt with a basic forest as well, so he can cast cards like Ancient Stirrings.
Yep, it's also just nice to have a basic in case someone just Field of Ruins you or something.
And here's the plan now for Oliver 2. This is since pretty early. He's going to play a Leyline of the Void.
Yeah, so Leyline is different from Rest in Peace. It doesn't exile any graveyards or anything. Like, it just stops future cards from going to the graveyard. So Matt decides to sacrifice his Star so he has more cards in his graveyard.
Yep. The upside, of course, to the Leyline is that it's only for your opponent. So if you have some graveyard nonsense going on, you can keep that rolling. And here's a pair of Ichor Wellsprings now for Matt Nass. So his board's starting to come around, and if he finds a Calcano Ironworks, he could have a lot of mana. Ooh, here's a clock. Goblin Rabblemaster, Melissa.
Rabblemaster. Wrong token, but still a 1/1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually a goblin, but looks like we even got it replaced.
Nice. This is a really fast clock. This card just multiplies in how much damage it deals every turn.
It's one of the fastest clocks you can get for 3 mana. It actually, it's faster than some of the cards that you might think would be faster, but Goblin Rabblemaster puts a savage beating down if left unchecked.
Yeah, it's very easy to answer, but KCI doesn't play answers.
Attacks for 6 mana next turn, or for 6 damage next turn. And that's if Oliver doesn't do anything else other than make the Goblin and attack with everything.
I wonder if Matt sided in his Galvanic Blast.
Well, there's a Scrap Trawler. Now he's really just Calcano Ironworks away from getting things rolling. We also have to remember that he
does have the Leyline, though.
The Leyline, that's right. But he's got, what does he have? I wonder how much he can get going just from what he has in the yard now. Does it even trigger? Or another artifact? Nope, so that won't trigger at all.
Well, he could return like a Star.
Could he?
Yeah, because you have to get something that costs less, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it'll even trigger. Right?
Oh, no, it won't trigger with Leyline.
Yeah, Scrappy T's just on 3/2 duty here. Suppose he's happy about that because it can block a Goblin.
Yeah, and these guys have to attack too.
Yes, they are forced to do so. That's like the big downside with Rabblemaster, even though the truth is everybody just always attacks with them anyway. Oh, no.
Backup Leyline.
Yeah, that's strong. I mean, remember, one of his Nature's Claims already in the graveyard, and now Oliver is sort of setting up in case Matt were to draw another copy of it.
Yeah, things are looking pretty rough for Matt here. He has to draw 2 Nature's Claims.
By the way, chat has come up with a new nickname for Scrappy T. I'm not going to say it on the air, but
you
could probably figure it out. This nickname is pertinent only when your opponent has Leyline of the Void on the battlefield, but I think they might be correct here because this is not looking good for Matt Nass. The sideboard tech from Oliver, too. Lots of stuff. I mean, the Blood Moon, it's one of his worst sideboard cards, or maybe it's main deck, I should say. But
yeah, it is actually main deck.
But, I mean, it's not even like his big sideboard card. And
yeah, right. Like, it's not even very effective in this matchup. It's okay. but Oliver probably just had to side out all of his removal spells and just didn't have. He probably had to leave some of his stuff in his deck, and Blood Moon was one of the cards he decided to leave in. He had just too many to side out and not enough to side in, so got to play stuff like Blood Moon.
He does have one more copy of Gear per Ether Grid that he could use to help stabilize this board. And Matt does pack the full 4 copies of Nature's Claim, but with none inside at the moment, he's pretty far off. Pair of bolts there for Oliver off of that Faithless Looting. Depends on what he wants to keep.
Yeah, he also has Lingering Souls and a Pyromancer in hand, but that Ironworks, not Ironworks, sorry, Engineer Explosives is kind of stopping that from doing anything. This is a very slow clock. Attack for 1 every turn.
Mm-hmm. Was there a Lingering Souls there that can help speed it up? It looks like it.
Yep. Then Matt will just be forced to use the Engineered Explosives at some point.
By the way, Corey in the chat says that first Ancient Stirrings that we saw from Matt Nass actually revealed the other copy of Gear per Ether Grid.
Oh, no.
Which means it's stranded
so
in the top
way down there.
10 cards, of his library. And one thing about KCI that's kind of interesting is it doesn't really shuffle. Like, I don't think it plays any fetches. It doesn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it does. And that's Ancient Stirrings number 3, which means there's now 12 cards underneath the Gear per Ether Grid.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. I mean, there are ways to shuffle in the deck cards like Inventor's Sphere, but these are all turned off from Blood Moon. So that's even further away here for Matt Nass.
This is where a card like Emrakul would come in handy.
Like if he could KCI and just make a ton of mana and just Emrakul you. You said that he's not playing it, though.
Right, yeah. Like, these types of decks played Emrakul a long time ago.
Yeah, I've seen them recently, too.
But it looks like they're not playing that anymore because this combo is just stronger.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a KCI. But with that Leyline in play, I'm not totally sure what he can really do.
Now, he does still get the mana, but what is he going to do with it?
Cast a Mind Stone, maybe? Oh,
yeah.
he's making 6. Oh,
there's
the
the Worm Coil
Engine.
All right, he does have 2 of those in his sideboard, and it looks like we've got one of them on the battlefield.
Yeah, this is a card that I thought would make a difference because Oliver really doesn't have any ways to remove it. Although if he has double Bolt in hand, then that's a great answer. And he does have double Bolt.
Okay, that still doesn't quite get him all the way out of the woods, though.
No, it does because Leyline, so it doesn't even get the 2 tokens.
Good call, Melissa. That gets him completely out of the woods here.
Yeah, double Bolt was
God.
great here.
That's a beating. Matt Nass just can't seem to find a combination of cards that can stay on the battlefield against Oliver. That is savage.
And he already lost so much just to get that Worm Coil out there.
He ended up sacking some lands. Goodness sakes. Wow, by the way, those Ley Lines of the Void, putting in overtime here. Shutting down the Ichor Wellsprings from triggering, the card draw, the combo itself, and now even the sideboard cards from Matt Nass with Worm Coil Engine.
Yeah, we've seen Leyline do a lot of good work this weekend against decks like Hollow One. It's just one of the strongest graveyard hate cards in the format. Great against Dredge.
You don't see it that often.
No, you don't. You usually see Grafdigger's Cage or like things like Tormod's Crypt or Nile Spellbomb or something. Relic, actually. Relic of Progenitus.
I mean, you obviously see a lot of Rest in Peace out of the decks that can cast that consistently. And while the Mardu Pyromancer deck technically can, they don't. It has a heavier black-red core, so. But I got to say that we've seen it on 2 different matches today, Melissa. And I wouldn't be surprised if Leyline of the Void makes a big comeback because it has just looked absurd.
Yeah, the reason why Leyline is doing so much work is because it doesn't remove your graveyard. So as you can see, Oliver has all this like graveyard stuff. Like he has Faithless Looting, he has Lingering Souls. He's fueling his Bedlam Reveler while still hating out his opponent's graveyard.
Looks like Matt's going to finally crack that Mind Stone. Now he's facing real pressure here. Not only is the Rabble Master still making a goblin per turn that's kind of just getting perpetually blocked by the Scrap Trawler, there's a young Pyromancer on the battlefield.
Yep, he does have the tokens covered with the engineered explosives, but Oliver still has a Lingering Souls in his graveyard, and the Goblin Rabble Master will also just continue to make tokens.
A second Scrap Trawler here for Nass.
They're pretty good blockers.
How in the world is he going to get out of this, though?
Yeah. I think this game is going to go on for a lot longer, but it's going to just remain in Oliver's favor. Like, Matt Nass has to draw 2 of his Nature's Claims.
Right.
Or draw the Ghirapur Aether Grid, which we know is somewhere on the bottom of his deck.
Right. Now, he does have another copy of Wormcoil Engine, and to be fair, Oliver doesn't have an easy time getting rid of it. Oliver's going to offer a trade with the young Pyromancer.
Yep, this is a nice attack. He'd be very happy if Matt trades, I think. He really wants Matt to just sack that engineered explosives. So my guess is he would just cast the Lingering Souls here to just put Matt under even more pressure and incentivize him to use that engineered explosives. And then the Goblin Rabble Master will maybe take over the game. He just needs to deal with one more Scrap Trawler. Scrappy T.
That's what we call it. That's not what chat calls him.
I've been calling Scrap Heap Scrounger Scrappy forever.
Okay.
So when you say Scrappy T, I'm like, oh, Scrappy. But no, it's a different Scrappy.
Right. Uncle Scrappy?
He could be an uncle.
He's a little bigger. Mana cost.
He's a little younger, though. He's from the next set. So maybe Scrappy is the uncle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I'm sure they're related in some way.
Oh, definitely related.
They're both artifacts. They both deal with the graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Scrap Heap? I bet you don't. Scrap Heap?
Scrap Heap
Or is this? No, Scrap Heap. Just Scrap Heap. Or
There's
is
a
this
card
Legacy
called
Rare?
Scrap Heap?
Yes.
No,
It's not good.
When did you design it?
Back when I was young.
I'm looking it up right now.
Scrap Heap.
Wow, that is
not a strong card.
Magic card. That's a rare?
Rares were different back then.
Jeez, you really used the slot on that, huh?
R&D was,
or was this
Magic
the
was much different back then.
Scrap Heap. Artifact. Whenever an artifact or enchantment is put into your graveyard from play, gain 1 life, which, by the way, wouldn't do anything for Matt here.
And remember, this Scrap Heap was in the same set as Memory Jar.
Oh, wow. About the same.
What a combo. You sacrifice your Memory Jar and gain 1 life.
That's why you're in R&D, Melissa.
Exactly.
You see all the angles. Oh, man.
Faithless Looting is going to discard some Inquisition of Kozilek's. Not very good when Matt is empty-handed. I'm sure Oliver is very happy to filter these cards out of his hand. Sure, just more cycling. In case I didn't draw ley lines, I now have this.
This has been a bit of a grind fest. Not a whole lot going on at the moment.
Yeah. I think Oliver is very heavily favored, but it's just going to take forever to win.
By the way, chat wants you to talk more about playtest names.
Oh, yeah, playtest names.
And the example they gave was the card Skull Clamp because they assumed that you designed it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I do love a playtest name, though. Seriously, that if you have any of those that you see, I know this is modern, and so we're going back in time.
Yeah, it'll be really difficult to.
But if you see one, you'll say it.
Sure.
Right? We have your promise? Okay.
Okay. Like, I think Fatal Push playtest name was Fatal Push. Like that.
Oh no.
Sometimes cards, if names,
it's a great name.
If names are great, they're just not going to change.
That is a great name. What was Blood Sun's playtest name?
I think it was Blood Sun.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Faithless Looting now for Oliver. Again, not a whole lot going on as far as anybody getting way ahead at this point. But Oliver has been able to maintain the lead that he's had. Oh, this is a big one.
This is a sweet card. This card's great right now.
Koligon's command. And it looks like he wants to kill Scrap Trawler and maybe just do 2 damage to Matt. He's thinking about maybe making him discard. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, he might be. Let's see. If he does 2 damage and puts him to 6, then he has actually 6 damage on the board.
He's got lethal.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense to just steal him too. Then Matt, of course, will sacrifice. Nope, the engineered explosives is gone, so you already sacrificed that. Okay. We missed that while we were talking about Scrap Heap, I guess. The things you missed.
It was important, Melissa.
Yeah, we have to get our history of Scrap Heaps out there. Like, there are 3 Scrap Heaps in Magic now.
It's a story that needs to be told. That's a lethal attack, and it would be the match, by the way, going to Oliver, too. Securing his spot in day number 2. We are in win-and-in right now. Is there anything that Matt Nass can do? Maybe he has a way to gain 4 life here with the Nature's Claim on his own.
Oh, yeah, he must be doing that.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really do anything. It just buys him time.
Buys him a turn. I mean,
I don't know what he can even draw. He can draw Worm Coil. So I guess he's playing to that out.
There you go. I'd play to that out. That puts him to 10, takes 6, goes down to 4. Needs a Worm Coil.
Yeah, Worm Coil. Yeah, wow, that would do something. Did we get it?
Very close. He's lining something up. What, Matt, did you do it?
Did he do it? It could also be Ancient Stirrings.
Oh, for the
into
full
Worm
sweat?
Coil? Yes. I hope it's Ancient Stirrings into Worm Coil.
I kind of do, too. He's thinking he hasn't conceded.
But if it's Worm Coil, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about what artifact to sacrifice, I guess, right? Because you have to sacrifice 1.
Oh, so.
He must have drawn it.
Oh, Matt.
That's the only conclusion I came to. He just drew Worm Coil.
You are slow rolling us proper here, buddy.
And he's just agonizing over which artifact to sacrifice.
Oliver sitting over there patiently. He also might just be trying to figure out if it even gets the job done here. Oh, Ancient Stirrings? Oh, no, he's just going to concede it was nothing after all.
So he just had nothing the whole time?
He just didn't. It might have been an Ancient Stirrings. Who knows? That is going to do it, though. Oliver, 2, takes down the match 2-0, and he's 6-0. And, again, that puts him into the day 2 guaranteed, though, of course, Oliver will be looking, have his sights a little higher than that. Same with Matt Nass.
Matt still has a great chance to day 2 here. He just needs 1 win in the next 2 matches. And
saw that Ether Grid go by.
And Matt is a very proficient combo player. He's known for playing combo decks. He top-8'd Pro Tour Kaladesh with Marvel. He's just like super good at combo. So card of the match. What's the card of the match? All right, I have my answer.
I got my answer too.
Okay.
Should we do it again?
Yes. 1, 2, 3. Leyline of the Void.
You're right. It was Leyline of the Void. So tell us why you picked it. She gets to pick it, by the way. I'm just throwing a vote.
It just shut down everything.
Yeah.
It shut down all. It just shut down everything. What didn't it stop?
Yeah. It even shut down stuff that doesn't always get shut. You know, like
dice triggers, like Chromatic Star.
Exactly. It wasn't just about killing graveyard-specific cards, but also interactions, and that really mattered.
Right.
Now
those Ichor Wellsprings.
Yes, definitely. Now, the chat has an extremely important question for you as well. As you take a look at Leyline of the Void, the big all-star.
There it is.
I promised them, Melissa.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been harassing me.
Sure. All right, let's hear it.
Playtest name for...
I might not remember, by the way.
No, this is a card that's not even out yet.
Oh. All right.
Come on, chat. Yargle.
Oh, I think it was just Yargle. But it wasn't Yargle the whatever. I don't know what his real name is.
It wasn't the Yargfather or...
No, it was just Yargle. There's Yargle.
Of course it was. It wasn't the, what is he, a 9-3?
Yeah.
Okay. It was just Yargle. I asked. You made
It was
me do
really
it.
important to have a vanilla legend, and it was Yargle. It was 9-3.
Yargle has an incredible fan following, considered that he is yet to be officially released.
He's almost as beloved as Fibblefip.
Yeah,
but probably not,
maybe
though.
more at the moment. All right, well, we've got a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be finishing up round 6 here from GP Hartford. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Melissa. We got Yargle front and center.
Yep, Yargle is just on the screen. We were just talking about him.
He's getting that screen time, you know.
The vanilla legend.
Yeah.
Man, how does it feel to be a vanilla legend?
He's just like eating like maybe a person. I don't know. Sometimes.
I mean, he's the glutton of Urborg.
Yeah.
All of Urborg.
All right, this is an important question before we go to Time Walk.
Sure.
Fibblefip or Yargle?
Like, what's the question? Who's cuter? Who's
I put
better?
the question to you. I don't have to qualify it. You have to choose.
Oh, Fibblefip for sure. He's so beloved. He's lost. He has a plushie.
Fibblefip is so 2016. It's Yargle's time now. All right, we've got Time Walk Magic lined up for you here in round number 6. Why don't we head down to that? We've got Dylan Donegan playing against Noah Walker. Here's another Mardu Pyromancer deck. And then the other side, a deck that seems to have fallen off a little bit, Grixis Death Shadow. That was kind of the king of Modern for a few months, and it's still around, but maybe not quite in the numbers that we once saw.
We don't see that deck too much anymore. There's a lot of answers to all of its threats, and it just damages itself so much, has a hard time dealing with the threats that are being played now in the format. It's just like, what do you do against a young Pyromancer making a lot of tokens? What do you do against like things with 4 toughness, like Hollow One? It's just really tough for this deck to do well these days. So Noah is a really young kid, but I've actually known him for like 10 years. I think
really? Local player to you? Or?
Yeah, we played together. He was a TJ's Collectibles player, so he was at all the New England PTQs. So I think I first played him like 10 or so years ago at TJ's, and he's always been really good. Like I remember
Even when he was young?
Yeah, I remember getting paired against him. I'm like, oh, a kid. This should be easy.
Yeah.
But no, it was never easy. This kid has always been good.
Yeah, he's a talented player for sure and has really been making his mark of late on the GP scene.
Yeah, he just top 8'd last week in Seattle, playing Grixis Delver. Also a young Pyromancer deck. So now this weekend he's playing another young Pyromancer deck, but different color combination. So it looks like Noah started with a Faithless Looting and pitched a Lingering Souls. Always a nice start. Let's see what Dylan has going on here. Yeah, his deck is pretty normal. This is what I would expect a Grixis Death Shadow to be. I don't see anything really out of the ordinary here. It's just a deck with hand disruption, removal, and big guys. I would expect the matchup to favor Noah.
This is getting kind of interesting here because Dylan Donegan actually went to fetch up a basic swamp, then thought better of it. I think Noah might have a Blood Moon in hand right now.
Okay.
And if he does, he could lock Dylan out of blue and black mana with it.
Right, but Dylan is playing Stubborn Denial in his deck, which he could have to just stop the Blood Moon. Yeah, it looks like Noah does have the Blood Moon in hand. So let's see if he decides to go for it.
Yeah, he needs that. I don't know if he has another land. I'm assuming he does. But even if he does, it does set him on, well, it looks like it's a marsh flat. So he can, if he goes and gets a swamp here, then we're going to be pretty sure he's going to slam Blood Moon. But he does need to. Oh, wow. So Noah Walker announced Blood Moon, but Stubborn Denial from Dylan Donegan. I know the players are playing quickly, but you can see what's happened there. Noah said, I play Blood Moon. Dylan said, no, sir,
nope,
and shut it down. And you can see why Dylan decided not to get that basic swamp and get instead a land that could produce blue as well as his color he didn't have yet, which is red. And bang, he gets to start crunching in with the 5/5.
Yeah, well, that Stubborn Denial was key, actually. And then the follow-up Thoughtseize. So now Noah doesn't really have an efficient answer to the Gurmag Angler. Collective Brutality to gain 2 life and get nothing from Dylan's hand. Unfortunate for Noah. And make 2 chump blockers. Maybe. In the form of Christian Calcano tokens.
Calca's, of course, a Northeastern Magic legend.
Yep, he's another player that I have been playing with for a while, just in the Northeast PTQ scene.
Yeah, he's one of the most popular players from this region.
Yeah, I've seen him go
successful.
from PTQ grinder to just pro player in a few years.
To platinum.
Yep.
Yep.
Snapcaster, what are you snapcastering?
Perhaps a Thoughtseize? What else does he have?
No, this is in response to the Inquisition, so
gotcha.
So it could be, I'm not sure if it matters what he gets here. Maybe he's just casting it.
Yeah, the instant that I remembered was the Stubborn Denial.
Yeah, there was the Stubborn Denial.
Which he could just sort of have as a backup plan or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I guess he could have just announced the Stubborn Denial and just left it up there as a threat.
Yeah.
So Noah couldn't play any more non-creature spells. But then he would have had to fetch, I guess, an island.
Well, but he didn't have to fetch until end step,
you're
I
right.
think Noah said go.
Yeah, you're right.
Again, these players know each other, and they're playing extremely quickly. And look at this.
Teamer Battle Rage.
Old TBR. Doesn't even stay on the creature.
Giving the 5/5 a double strike trample.
Yeah, Dylan just says in and gets the job done. And that's game number 1 going to Dylan Donegan. On the other side of the table, Noah Walker gets to be on the play, kicks things off with Thoughtseize. And sees a pretty stacked hand here. Stubborn Denial, Thought Scour, and Lightning Bolt. A lot of potential, but no threats at the moment. That happens, though, with Death Shadow decks, as they're not actually that threat dense at the end of the day. So Noah's going to get a chance to kind of sculpt his hand here. If he wants to keep Donegan from moving through his library, he'll take the Thought Scour. If he has a threat he wants to protect from Lightning Bolt, he'll take that. Or if he sees, look, down the line, that Stubborn Denial could be very annoying, he may take that away.
So I'm looking at Noah's list. He's actually playing, looks like the same list that we just saw last round with Oliver. Like they have the exact same sideboard. One interesting card out of Noah from the sideboard is Hazaret the Fervent. Indestructible.
From Noah?
From Noah, yes.
Ooh. That's a nice one.
Yep.
One thing this Mardu Pyromancer deck is good at is emptying out its hand. Of course, it does that to accommodate Bedlam Reveler, as you get the most value from it if you can cast all your spells and then revel.
Thought Scour. Let's see if he draws anything relevant here. Looks like a Street Wraith was drawn.
Okay. Well, there's definitely one in the graveyard now.
Yes.
And Cyclone
there it
as
is.
well. Or excuse me, Death Shadow in the graveyard and a Street Wraith.
Yep. And
now
then
as well.
Now we can see a Gurmag Angler.
Jeez.
With Stubborn Denial backup. Wow.
Did that just happen?
Yeah, that's happening.
Wow, those are some nice rips.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
he already had the Stubborn
Well, we
Denial,
knew about the Stubborn Denial.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a Gurmag Angler.
Well, we're going to find out in,
we'll find out
a short second here, aren't we, Melissa? Because he's digging around for a land. It would make sense for him to go do this right now if he's going to do it. Wow. This could be an absolute beating here if Dylan really has it. Wow.
Yeah, yep.
Man, that's through a Thoughtseize.
Yeah, wow, these Stubborn Denials have been insane.
Seriously, Lightning Bolt still in the graveyard for Dylan. And Noah Walker says, I thought I had a turn or two to kind of get my feet under me thanks to the Thoughtseize. No, sir. He is now under immense pressure, and he's going to need to find multiple ways to kill the 5/5. That is very difficult to do.
Yeah, it looks like he does have a way to kill it, but
what does he have?
Not with Stubborn Denial. He has the combination of Liliana plus Lightning Bolt.
That's
that won't
4.
even. That's only 4. That won't even do it.
Yeah, he needs the other Liliana here, but like you said, Stubborn Denial, a real problem.
He plays Dreadbore, but again, the Stubborn Denial is just going to stop that.
I wonder if he has a creature that would make a difference here, because if he can do that, he can play around Stubborn Denial. It's just so hard to race the big fish there.
Yeah, the creature that will make a difference is actually Young Pyromancer, because you can just produce a lot of chump blockers.
Sure.
And you don't care if your spell gets countered because you're still getting a chump blocker.
You know what creature he has in his hand?
What's
Goblin
that?
Rabble Master.
That card's not so good.
Yeah.
Because he has to run the token into the 5/5.
But maybe he could at least start to piece together something of a race, given that Dylan's at 12. He would take 5, go to 12, but then he would be attacking back for quite a bit with the Rabble Master here. Maybe it's a hope of something, and certainly better than just running a spell into a counterspell that you know about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So the token died, I think.
Yeah, they kind of did it quickly, but the token should be dead.
But it's dead.
Yeah, why is it here? Did he not block it?
Why would you not block? He's tapped out.
What in the world?
Did we just miss something?
I feel like we didn't, but I don't have a better answer.
He could have wanted to take damage because of like a future Death Shadow.
Oh, sure. There you go, Melissa. That has to be it. He actually probably just decided I'd like to be able to cast the Death Shadow, and it's worth it for me to take 1 damage to do so. That's obvious, right?
Yeah, there's the Death Shadow.
He just had drawn a Death Shadow at some point and wanted to be a little bit lower.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's funny because Noah just assumed the token died. He just didn't even put it into play.
Right, that's actually why I thought so too, because he picked it up and threw it away immediately. And again, these players know each other and they're playing very, very quickly, but of course it makes sense that he'd like to get a little bit lower on life there. And you can see why. He did have the Death Shadow in hand. And then he followed it up with a Snapcaster Mage to kill the Goblin Rabble Master with that Lightning Bolt that was in the graveyard. In the meantime, Noah looks like he chump blocked with the Goblin that was left over. And then he played Liliana, the Last Hope, to kill
the Snapcaster.
The Snappy.
Yep.
That's kind of where we're at here.
Yeah, looks like, also Dylan has, I believe, another Snapcaster in hand, which he can just run out at end of turn just as another attacker.
You can see Noah's really taking his time with this decision.
Yeah, what could he do here? He hasn't used Liliana yet. He has a Fatal Push for the Death Shadow. All right, he was deciding what card to discard. Sure. Oh, and there's the Stubborn Denial that we knew about. There's a Fatal Push. And there's still a Gurmag Angler.
So now Liliana's going to have 2 loyalty left over after she gets attacked. This does kind of get interesting going back to that token situation because Dylan could have blocked it and then just attacked back or made it impossible for Noah to really play Liliana. Wow, he's going to minus Liliana to get back the Rabble Master and just immediately replay it and try to race here.
Oh.
But a Snapcaster Mage is actually going to come in and block the
Snapcaster on a
1/1.
token.
Boy. But remember, that is multiple. That's not just the 1 damage. That represents more damage next turn, plus the Rabble Master gets bigger for each one. And that looks like a Tassiger or maybe just another.
I think it was another Gurmag Angler.
Another.
Because he removed 4 cards.
Gurmag. So casual 10 power on the board against a Goblin Rabble Master. And how in the heck is Noah Walker supposed to fight through all this? You see one of the Dreadbores in the graveyard that you mentioned a minute ago, Melissa, but he's not going to have access to that right now.
Yeah, he has a Bedlam Reveler in hand, but only 1 red source, so he's pretty far off from that.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt has no good targets.
Normally, I would think of a card like Lingering Souls to help keep him alive here.
Yeah, so I guess he does have a land. I guess I missed that he had a land in hand, so he can cast the Bedlam Reveler. It was a Blackcleave Cliffs.
Brutal. Now he's stuck in chump block mode here.
Yeah, so he can block and then finish off the Gurmag Angler with a bolt.
That's right, but it doesn't matter because Dylan Donegan is all over it with Snapcaster into Stubborn Denial.
Yep, he had a lot of Snapcasters that game.
By the way, that was a really fun one to watch. They played so quickly. I know it can get a little overwhelming if you're not used to it, but boy, that was fun to commentate with how quickly they played.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looked like it almost, you know what it reminded me of, Melissa?
What's
Watching pros play test.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You've been in playtesting houses for the Pro Tour when people play extremely quickly because you both know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. We also play like that in R&D as well because
I bet.
Like, our goal is to learn about the cards, not find the best play or find the best deck or whatever. We're just like learning about how the cards do and like how we want to craft the format. So, like, since we know what each other is thinking, we just play super fast.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
We also like play for the opponent too. It's just like, okay, I have this, so you have to do this because that's how you're going to stop me, you know?
Yeah.
It's just very different.
You just assume that they're going to do the play.
Yeah, we just always make sure we all do the right play.
Yeah. All right, so we're on more Time Walk. Hey, it's actual Christian Calcano and Jacob Saracino, and they're going at it here in Time Walk. Looks like a Steam Vents to kick things off.
Actual Christian Calcano, not just his token.
That's right. We had him. We had the. What would they were spirit tokens or something on the battlefield.
A goblin.
Goblin, yeah. They're
elemental. He was just everything.
And you can see that
he's just every token.
Calca's love, Calca's life. And he's got Slippery Bogle, the namesake of the deck. Though for some reason we call it Boggles, not Boggles.
I like saying Boggle. I just think the word is funnier.
Funnier than Bogle?
We might easier. Also easier to say.
Okay, that's
it has
true.
a lot of benefits going forward, I think.
Griff's Boon now for Christian
nice.
Calcano. You know, this is kind of funny. Calca's just on auras all day, right? He's become famous of late for playing auras in limited when they're good, right?
He was playing the Spectral Flight.
Yeah.
And the Maniacal, maybe not Maniacal Rage, but the whatever the 2-mana one in red is called. It might be Maniacal Rage.
Swashbuckling.
Oh, sure, yeah, that was it, yep.
Yeah, he played a lot of that. And now he's doing it here in Modern as well.
He just loves to suit stuff up. He doesn't care about card disadvantage.
It's all about those pants.
He's like, answer me.
And right now, I'm not going to lie to you here, Melissa. I'm not liking Jacob's chances.
So Jacob is on Teamer Moon. So this probably means cryptic commands, some Serum Visions, Lightning Bolts, probably not very many answers to a Slippery Boggle.
He's dead.
Including right now, there was no answer and he just died. This is going to be very fast probably. We'll see.
Wow, yeah, this matchup seems horrendous for Jacob.
Yeah, Teamer doesn't deal with Boggles very well.
No. Blood Moon can trip them up, but once they know about it, they can certainly play around it. And sometimes it's just too slow.
Yeah, like Boggles is like a turn 1, turn 2, get my stuff online deck, and Blood Moon turn 3, they already, like, the damage is done. Engineered Explosives is a card that can push the matchup in Jacob's favor. But even then, it goes from very unfavorable to slightly unfavorable, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Explosives is very good against this deck, but it's going to need even more.
There's a Serum Visions. What's your favorite Boggle? Is it Slippery Boggle or Glade Cover Scout?
Can I hate both of them?
Sure.
I'll do that then.
Spell Pierce is pretty good against this deck. Maybe Jacob has that. Rancor. All right, no Spell Pierce. So even if Jacob does have a Blood Moon here, he has to deal with this 4-power Trampler. And even this Engineered Explosives is looking pretty sad because it kills the Spider Umbra and it makes the Rancor just go back to hand.
That's right.
So he can stop.
So he'll take
3 damage
just
for
one
a turn.
Damage this turn, but
right.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. So that goes to hand, and he takes 1. Still has this guy to deal with.
And like you said, still has access to the Rancor anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob's hope is that, like, Christian doesn't have, like, an Ethereal Armor or a Daybreak Coronet, so he could block with the Snapcaster.
And now there's Gaddock Teeg to shut off.
So no Cryptic Commands.
Yeah, no Cryptic Commands, no more Engineered Explosives. And it's go from Jacob. You got to feel for Jacob here. This matchup started out bad and is looking way worse now as Christian gets to go 2 auras here. He's going to play Rancor. That's going to get mana leaked, but he's got a backup plan. He's got Ethereal Armor in his hand as well. Now, Ethereal Armor doesn't look amazing here.
No, I mean, it'll get better over time, but
right.
Jacob did not even have a bolt for that Gaddock Teeg.
So he's going to put
that's never
Ancestral
happening.
Vision on the stack, and that's
4 turns away?
way too slow.
That's never happening.
I mean, he put it on the stack, put it on suspend turn 1 last game.
And it still did not
come
happen.
off the stack. That Spirit Mantle, it's going to get spell snared, but the clock is real, even with Jacob fighting the fight, as in 1 turn he's dead. Like, literally has nothing to do.
He's like, I have cryptic commands.
2 cryptic
I can't do
commands
anything.
in hand, and that's going to be it. Christian Calcano is 6-0 here in winning, and he's going to find himself in day number 2. We're going to take a short commercial break, but as you can see behind us, the next round of action is just about underway. We'll see you in just a minute.